Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to tonight's second half. Before we get into it, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and guys, it definitely matters. And now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with tonight's second half, shall we? All right, everybody. Today I have a subscriber who reached out to me. I was kind of amazed because he is from my neck of the woods up in the Adirondacks. Jason, how are you today?
Doing good.
Thanks for reaching out to me. I appreciate it. And thanks for taking some time out of your weekend to share the encounter with us. I'm going to turn the floor over to you. That way you can share your encounter with us.
All right. Well, it was me and my mother and father. In the winter, we would go into where our counter was and bring our boat and camp and stuff with the snowmobile. And then in spring, we would go back in, but we'd have to walk in because, we couldn't take ATVs with the state of New York.
Right.
So we would go Labor Day weekend trout fishing. So we went in Friday night or Friday afternoon.
Now, how deep was it in there? Sorry.
It's about 6 miles.
Okay.
A 6 mile hike, which it sounds like a lot, but it's not too bad if you've done it your whole life.
Right. Especially on a good day and stuff, the scenery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was it's pretty much a cut trail till right at the end. So we went in and set everything up. Friday night was pretty uneventful. Everything was real quiet. We didn't see no animals or nothing Friday night. We fished, went to bed. Saturday we got up. We fished all day like we usually do. Saturday evening, around 10 or 11 o'clock, we heard a doe belting, like a scream, doe crying,
Yep.
like a yearling crying for its mother. And then, you know how before they die, they almost sound like a baby crying.
Yeah.
And we heard that, but we didn't know where it was coming from. So we were on the edge a little bit, but we didn't really know. We went to bed. When we got up, me and my father just took a walk around the lake. We were going to go check one of our caches because my mother was cold that night, and we thought we had more blankets. So we walk around on the lake, and we find the yearling that we heard the night before, and it was tore apart.
Wow.
And not chewed up, it was tore apart.
Okay.
There wasn't nothing left of it. And I noticed my father got real uneasy after that.
So, not to cut you off again, but this is a place, because you've got caches there, this is a place that you guys have gone for a long time. Like, you guys go there.
Oh, yeah, 20 years.
Okay.
Then, before I was born, my father went in there, been going in there for 40 years.
Right. So this isn't new to you, new to your dad. Your dad knows this area kind of like the back of his hand, like his backyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he could walk in there blindfolded probably.
All right. Now, the deer, when you saw the deer, I know you said it was tore up. What, can you kind of describe when you...
Like, almost like it was shredded. The hind quarter was eaten. The neck was eaten, and it was tore up like, I don't know, almost like a Freddy Krueger movie, like the claws. It was tore up on the sides.
Now, just so people know, you grew up here, up in the Adirondacks. We do have black bear up here, but black bear.
They don't eat meat, so.
Thank you. Well, they do, but they don't go hunting deer.
Yeah, like they don't hunt deer. Like, that's not their main source of food.
Right.
I mean, we had 2 coolers full of trout. If it was that hungry, it's not gonna chase down that deer when it could just come take our coolers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so we went back to the campsite. Then my father was on edge all the rest of the day into the night.
And your dad's not a. He's not.
No, he's a man's man. He not much scared him.
Okay.
I mean, he's lived his whole life in the woods, so nothing in the woods scared him. And it was late that evening, 11 or 12. We kept hearing something walking around by our campsite. And I was in the tent by myself, and they were in another tent, and I could hear them talking a little. And then he come and got me up about 1 o'clock because we kept hearing something walking around the lake. And where we stayed, we were up on a ledge like 10 foot off the water, so we're kind of overlooking the lake.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he had his big spotlight, and we heard something across the lake, and he shined his light over there, and that's when we saw it, which I really don't know what it was. It was on all fours to begin with, and then when we shined the light, it looked at us, stood up, and walked towards us, towards the edge of the lake, looking at us.
Okay.
It didn't have no tail.
Right.
It had legs like a dog, like you would see if you picked your dog up and held it up. His legs were bent back like a dog or a wolf. His abdomen was really, really skinny. His body really wasn't proportionate like you would think.
Mm-hmm.
But his chest and head were big.
Almost top heavy?
Yeah, like top heavy.
Okay.
And you could even see, like, around his abdomen, almost looked like mange, kind of.
Okay.
What you could see with the light.
Right. I mean, you're how far from where you were?
It's only probably 100 yards across there.
Yeah. Okay.
So you think 100 yards is a long ways, but it's not that far.
Not really. No.
No.
So when you saw, what'd the head look like? Like, describe the head and face area if you could.
Yeah, it was. His head was big, like kind of big and round, and it had tall, pointy ears, but it really didn't have a big snout. His snout was short.
Okay.
I mean, not like a German Shepherd snout or nothing like that. It was kind of stubby.
Like a hound dog stubby, or?
Yeah, kind of like a hound dog. It didn't stick way out.
Right.
And I didn't know that until it turned a little bit. And when it turned is when you could really see the snout and how top heavy it was.
Now, when your dad's got the light, was there any reflection on the eyes? Was there any sort of?
Yeah, but I hear people say redness.
Right.
To me, they just reflected like a raccoon or a deer's eyes, almost like a yellowish.
Okay.
And I hear people say, well, yellow glow. Well, it's going to glow when you hit it with a light.
Right.
I mean, because once he put the light down, his eyes didn't glow no more. So the light is what made his eyes stand out.
Okay.
Then my dad looked at me and my mother, and he said, get what you can carry. We're leaving.
Did the creature, when it looked at you guys, did it make a noise? Did it do anything, or was it silent the whole time?
it just looked at, give us like a Death Star.
Okay.
And then, as soon as it set his front legs back down to turn and walk, that's when my dad said, get what you can carry. We're leaving. We left everything. The fish, the coolers, everything.
Wow.
And as we were walking out, we could hear something walking behind us, then to the side of us, then behind us. But it always kept its distance.
How far would you say?
Probably 50, 60 feet away.
Okay.
And it sounds close, but when it's pitch dark, it's a long ways away.
Yeah. Now,
and I think my dad was just too scared to shine the light there again.
Right.
Is what I really think.
So this creature was on the opposite side of this small lake, 100 yards away. But for it to get around back to your side would be a lot longer than 100 yards. So this thing
he had to come all the way around.
Yeah, so it moved at a good pace to get to where you guys were.
If it was the same one.
Right.
But we assumed it was the same animal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we get out to the parking, and where we parked the truck, it's just like a pull off. And we were backed in there, and we jumped in the truck, and we backed out towards the road. And when the lights shined back in where the trail was, you could see it standing there in the trees looking at us. And my dad hunted and was in the woods his whole life. And after that, he never sat another day in the woods hunting, ever.
Right. Yeah.
I think it traumatized him until he passed away.
And you said your dad worked out in the woods. He carried a firearm with him after that while he was working, correct?
All the time. Yeah, he kept it with him all the time after that. Because before that, he never did. And if you're walking around in the woods and you're walking on the crust, it's all good. But if you drop down 3 or 4 foot in the snow, coyotes and stuff can still walk on the crust.
Yeah.
So they used to scare me to death, but it never bothered him one bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after that,
you were sharing, you said one time that you'd seen a bear track, and he was like, "Let's follow this," and you're like, "Whoa, I don't really know." So
that's when he saw a bear track. It was like an animal finding blood.
Yeah.
He loved bear hunting, and they didn't scare him one bit, but this creature it scared him.
What was the ride home like?
Very quiet. My mother at first kept saying, "What is that? This, that," and he just kept telling her, "Shut up. It was just a bear.
Right.
Don't nobody need to know about this." And we never went back in there. We never went back and got our stuff. He never went back there and fished till the day he died.
Yeah. That's
the only person he talked about it with is me. And he was still confused.
Yeah.
I think he just couldn't comprehend it.
What, did he have any theories? Like when you guys would talk in the end, or like what?
At first he would say, well, it could have been a bear standing up. But then when you looked at the abdomen and stuff, right, it wasn't a bear. And it didn't have a snout like a bear. And, a bear can walk on 2 legs for a little bit, but this just walked. It walked up and looked at us and stood there. It wasn't like it walked up and had to go back down like a bear does.
Right.
And it never went back down until it started to go away, because it could probably move faster on 4 legs. Because I think if it wanted to get us, it could have got us.
Oh, easily, to get around that lake. Like when you shared how it came up to the lake, like a bear would walk on its hind legs for a couple feet and look more curious.
Yeah, this didn't look curious.
Stare, This thing gave you a death stare. That's not a bear.
Yeah, if looks could kill.
Yeah.
And I think it just didn't want us there, is the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's definitely. Now, how close? We won't mention any towns. But what would be the closest populated? How close was the closest populated area?
Probably big populated area, probably 25 minutes.
Okay.
But like small town, probably 10 or 15.
Okay.
But and I like upstate New York, it might be a little town here.
Yeah.
But then it's woods for 200 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly where you're talking about, and it's very dense woods in that area as well. That's crazy. So
Well, I appreciate you letting me share my encounter.
I appreciate you sharing it with me. I like you said, when you emailed me, you were like Adirondacks, and then I gave you a holler, and you're in a whole different state now. You're down south, but it's definitely neat to talk to somebody that's from my area that actually had an encounter with something very similar to what I saw. Just the way you explained how it moved and how odd it looked. I mean, when you first told me this story, I was like blown away. I mean, you could probably hear it in my voice because I was just like, wait, what? So I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to share that with us. Really, really means a lot. So thank you.
That's no problem.
Do you have any kind of parting words for everybody? And do me a favor, don't hang up when we end the video or upload. Yeah. But do you have any parting words for everybody?
Just pay attention when you're in the woods, and believing is seeing. I mean, you can criticize people if you've never seen something, but I mean, I wouldn't criticize people because one day you're going to be criticized.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a statement that got sent to me, an encounter got sent to me the other day, and the end of the statement was, you don't have to believe in these things for these things to kill you. And that really kind of stuck with me because you don't have to believe in them, but those of us who do know what's going to happen if you get caught by one. So
yeah, I mean, I don't hunt no more. I haven't hunted in 20 years.
Since that day?
Yeah, since then I don't hunt.
Yeah.
I try not to go in the woods.
And you're far away. You're far enough away. So you obviously, this thing messed you up that bad to where these things are everywhere in any kind of wooded area. Yeah, I mean, you don't never know. Yep. It was woods somewhat, it was woods there sometime. So you never know what's around. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jason. Well, I appreciate you reaching out. Thank you very much. Don't hang up, and have a good night, all right? Yep, thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone, that was tonight's second half. I cannot imagine being that terrified to never want to go in the woods again. I am so thankful that my encounter was in a vehicle and I was not right up on it, sharing the woods with it, because chances are that may be me too, These things are real and they are dangerous, and we need to be careful, and we need to continuously warn everyone about them. So with that, my friends, I want to thank you so much for all of your support. It truly means the world to me. I have a very explosive upload for tomorrow morning. Some very crazy news out of Meeker, Colorado. I've been staying on top of that, cattle mutilations, and I got in touch with somebody in Meeker, and it's a lot crazier than you guys think. So with that, my friends, I want to thank you all for all your support, and May the Great Spirit watch out for us all, and may He guide us down that path that we call life. Stay safe, everyone.